helping tonight of showbiz and entertainment news. Jamie and Josh here on Haps as usual. And coming up tonight, we're going to be talking about the US politician who made history by becoming a Twitch streamer. We're going to talk about last week's Hollywood bad boy who might be joining the cast of The Crown. Josh, what else is coming up today?
I have all the latest on the Chris Pratt saga, the latest viral trend that is taking Twitter by storm, and we have huge Hollywood names weighing in.
Fantastic. Now, we're going to start today off by talking about everyone. I was going to say everyone's favourite streaming service, but my favourite streaming service. I don't often venture to the dark side of Amazon Prime Video and Netflix, who have seen some quite interesting impacts from the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. They have basically released some of their stats. And as it turns out, in terms of their overall growth, at the beginning of the pandemic, as we all know, everyone flocked to the streaming services as they were forced to stay in. However, it seems that growth has slowed quite dramatically. Now, for the last 3 months, they've only got, in terms of new subscribers, 2.2 million subscribers. This was below their own forecast of 2.5 million subscribers, actually. And as it happens, they're going to be doing loads more kind of promotions and marketing campaigns in Asia and India. I know in India they have this thing called Stream Fest, where they're giving away 48 hours of free streaming on the streaming service exclusively to India as well. And as it turns out, they have taken away their 30-day free trial away from the US market. So it seems as though Netflix, in terms of marketing strategies, are going in a bit of a different direction. Mm-hmm.
And you probably would think that they've almost saturated the Western European market and the US market too. So Asian market, South Asia in particular, probably is where Netflix needs to be focusing its marketing to drive those new subscriptions. But regardless, more than 2 million subscriptions in that 3-month period is still quite a lot of people.
And I also think we also have to think to ourselves who are the remaining subscribers as well. They've got over 200 million subscribers worldwide. So it's how many new subscribers are they getting year on year might not actually be a reflection of who's watching, because, yeah, the growth might be slowing down. However, it's all about the loyalty and whether the remaining subscribers who are already subscribed to the platform, whether they're watching their content and whether they're staying with the platform. That's the big question. 200 million subscribers worldwide isn't bad going now, is it, Jamie?
Not at all. I wouldn't sniff at 2.2 million subscribers. But before we move on about a Netflix topic that I really want to get into, do let us know if you watch it in the comments. Hello to Marcus Keppel-Palmer, who has joined. Doctor, I'm not going to read the rest of your name, has also joined. He asks what you're talking about. We're talking about entertainment and showbiz news today here on Haps. But let us know if you're watching. Let us know if you've got any comments or questions. Josh is quite knowledgeable about entertainment and showbiz news, and I would like to go to. So let us know what you're thinking.
I would just like to address Marcus's comment. He goes, "What about the Kardashians?" I am sick to death of the Kardashians, and I need a bloody break. End of story.
Josh is Kardashian done. But anyway, let's move on to one Netflix film, which I was slightly underwhelmed by, but Netflix have obviously, they're touting it as a success, The Old Guard. So reportedly 78 million households watched it. Now, the Netflix, the stats that they released, it's a bit unsure because that's not an end-to-end watch time. They could have switched it on for 10 seconds, but I think Netflix reports their stats as they do. So they're saying 78 million households watched it. They're calling it a success. I'm not really sure I enjoyed that film, and I was surprised because it has all the ingredients of Jamie's perfect films, and it just didn't do it for me.
I mean, that's fair enough, but what I will say is Netflix are they are in a very privileged position when it comes to releasing their own films, because people are paying for the service subscription monthly. Therefore, they're paying for all the content. So they don't necessarily need people to go and buy tickets to a cinema. So if they have a certain number of users watching that film, then that's how they measure the success. Now, whether or not The Old Guard's good or not, that is a different question. You were underwhelmed by it. I enjoyed it. Is it going to be the best Oscar-winning film? No, it's not going to be the best Oscar-winning film, although Charlize Theron does give a very decent performance in it. But if we think about it, how many did you say? Was that 78 million subscribers?
The 78 million households, so probably subscribers. I guess that's including family accounts.
Yeah.
As they watch The Old Guard.
And how much is a subscription?
God, do you know what? I'm going to expose myself here, but I share. Me and my brothers, we have a family subscription. We all pay £2 something towards it. I have got no idea. I think the Ultra HD subscriptions can get above £10.
Okay, but if we measure the households, that's 78 million times 10. That's $780 million. So I think you can say that's the equivalent of whatever. That's a success.
Yeah, well, I've just checked. $8.99, I think, is the average Netflix subscription, and then HD and several devices is upwards of sort of $11.99.
Okay, so we would assume it would have, in terms of how many households went to see it and whatever, it got back around, if we're working it out, it got back around maybe 500 to 800 million, around that, in terms of kind of what the revenue would be if it was to go to the cinema. And that is a very nice amount of money for a film to make.
Absolutely, a lot of money. And let's stick with Netflix because, we talked about him last week, but Dominic West, he is reportedly going to be joining one of Netflix's big hitters, which we'll see on our screens next month, The Crown. He is reportedly going to be playing Prince Charles, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Dominic West is reportedly playing Prince Charles. Quite ironic, given all the recent headlines, and also the fact that this news is announced on the same week that Rebecca's being released, starring Lily James. I just think Netflix, way to go. Yet they have turned a publicity storm into an absolutely genius kind of workable situation here. I think Dominic West will be very good. He's a very versatile actor. As you said, him playing Fred West, you can't get the image out of your mind. I have the image of him in his role alongside Keira Knightley and Colette. He's a very versatile actor. I must say, though, he does have big shoes to fill. Now, I've been very critical of The Crown Season 3. I haven't seen Season 4 yet. The trailer's been released. I know it's out in November, in under a month now. But what I would say is that Josh O'Connor was one of the saving graces for The Crown Season 3. And his performance as Prince Charles was
we've got some quite meaty topics coming up in the next series of The Crown, which is on Netflix from the 15th of November. Just want to say hello to everyone that's watching. Hello to Drew. Hello to Pablo. Hello to Allkill, who is asking us to ask his Google Play to play something. We're not going to do that. And Audrey, who's watching from Amsterdam. Hello to everyone that's watching. Do use that comments box. Let us know what you're thinking about today's story. Ask any questions you might have. Josh is very knowledgeable. And like I said, I'll do my best to answer to you. But Josh, the next thing that we're going to talk about is something that you're very, very much more knowledgeable about than me. It's another film which is hitting Netflix screens very soon. It's Rebecca.
It's actually out now.
Oh, is it?
On Netflix.
There you go. I said you knew more about it than me.
Yes, it was released today, starring Lily James, as I spoke about briefly before. It's also got Armie younger self would be like in Paris. This is what Emily in Paris would be. Is it the most accurate thing? No. I've been speaking to a lot of my French friends. I want to give a shout out to my friend Tatiana, who worked in Paris. She speaks French. She's now in Nigeria. And I said, is Emily in Paris actually like what it's like working in Paris? She said, absolutely not. It's how Americans view Paris. And it's so true. I know the French press have been less than complimentary about it. However, apparently the French public have taken it in their hearts, apparently like a duck to water, despite all their French stereotypes that the show depicts. I think, is it the best show on earth? No. Is it the best? Is it the most well-made show on earth? No. Is it completely addictive and binge-watchable? Absolutely. The episodes are only short. They're only half an hour long each. Very much worth a watch. You will laugh. You will go. Oh, you will be shocked at times. You will. It will get you thinking. It will make you smile and beam and also cringe. It's wonderful in its own way.
So I'm just flicking through my Netflix recent watches. Oh, okay, so there was one that I really, really enjoyed, and I'm sort of gagging for the next season. It's Snowpiercer. So dystopian future where the last of humanity is traveling on this huge train that does loops and loops and loops around the Earth. There's a first class, a second class, a third class, and then the people that jumped into the storage containers at the back. And it's just sort of a dystopian future, sort of a class system that's breaking down slowly. And, you know, it really, really was something different. And I really enjoyed it. It's a remaking of, I can't remember what year it was, but it's a film with not Chris Pratt, the other Chris.
Pine.
Maybe not him.
Evans.
Chris Evans. So Chris Evans and oh god, I'm so crap with this lady's name. Where is she? Tilda Swinton. Why can I never remember Tilda Swinton's name?
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that you don't know Tilda Swinton's name. Have you ever seen the Chronicles of Narnia?
Well, it is not my favourite film. I might have seen it.
No, but the White Witch. She was absolutely iconic as the White Witch.
She plays a similar character in this film here, but I don't know why. But Tilda Swinton is just an actor. I can never attach a name to her. I'm going to have to do some research and do some revision before I do these, probably. Especially if you're going to come at me with your character.
She was actually recently in a film. I can't remember the name with Dakota. I think she was with Dakota Johnson and. Suspiria, that's it. It just popped into my mind. She was in Suspiria with Dakota Johnson, and she was fantastic in that.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I hate to admit it, but maybe in the case of Tilda Swinton, there might be some kind of typecasting going on there because I hate to admit it, but she is absolutely brilliant of playing those stern characters, those stone-faced, cool, sleek characters that can just shut you down with one word, one sentence. She's just amazing at that sort of acting. And I mean, listen, although typecasting is something to be frowned upon, hey, if you've got a good part, like if you know you can play the parts well, then absolutely do it. It's a bit like Lily James, how she's brilliant at playing these English Rose type characters. What I will say is the character in Rebecca is not quite as rosy as a cup of tea, but it's her performance in that is also actually very enjoyable.
So Mel in the comments says she is amazing. Obviously, I think referring to Tilda Swinton there. But yes, Tilda Swinton did a great job of holding up the Snowpiercer film. But her character is reimagined entirely in the Netflix adaptation, turning this film into a series, Snowpiercer. If you want to binge watch something, I'd recommend that. But let's move on. We were talking about Chris's in Hollywood and the age-old question. Well, I say the age-old question. The internet has been trying to work out for a few years now. Which is Hollywood's favourite Chris? And I think they've decided which one isn't Hollywood.
I was gonna say this wasn't about who's your favourite Chris. This was a tweet which was based
Obviously, that hasn't rung true in this moment, and we've just seen how ready a certain group of people on the internet is to launch on someone without maybe knowing the whole story. Just going to say hey to some of the people watching along. Talking in the comments. Andre says, "This is my first time watching the show." Call of Duty God says, "Hi guys, stop talking gibberish." Well, not quite gibberish, but
it's not gibberish. It's just showbiz.
We're talking gibberish about Chris Pratt, because his Hollywood buddies have come to his support, haven't they?
Yes, his Hollywood buddies have absolutely come to his support. Says he is so solid. He's a traditional in his beliefs, but he is the nicest guy. And even though some of these guys have been what I think I should say here is a lot of the Marvel guys have been present at fundraisers for the Biden-Harris campaign, and it's been noted that Chris Pratt was notably absent. But it just shows that a lot of people have criticized Chris Pratt for his beliefs, and actually I think the Hollywood guys have given us a reminder. People like Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr. have given us, and James Gunn have given us a reminder. They said, listen, his beliefs are his political beliefs. Bearing in mind, Chris Pratt has actually not endorsed any candidate so far in the 2020 presidential election. He hasn't specifically said who he's supporting yet, but it's clear that they want to remind everyone, you don't know the full story. We know him as nothing but a nice guy. Stop attacking him. He is nothing but nice here, and I think that's important to note. Obviously, I know he's had his own troubles with his previous relationship with Anna Faris as well, and he's been through a lot.
And I think I've seen Chris more than ever being active on social media, particularly TikTok. So seeing him just being Chris. So maybe because he was quite a bit more present on social media than he has been before, and with it being such, I think, an important election for so many people for various different reasons, right across the 50 states. Maybe that's what they wanted to see, especially when you see huge celebrities like The Rock coming out and placing his Biden supporters card on his front lawn and all that sort of stuff. Celebrities going out on a limb to show their political allegiances. But I guess that just goes to show that, like we were saying last week, celebrities are just people too, and you can't just expect them to be what you want them to be almost.
Well, I do think as well, we have had a few surprises politically this year. I mean, of course, we have the Oprahs, the Meryl Streeps, the Julia Louis-Dreyfuses, the Eva Longoria Bastons, the Miley Cyrus, the Katy Perrys, the Lady Gagas. They're, of course, all obviously Democrats supporting celebrities, and they've made no secret of that fact. But the Trump campaign has had a very interesting endorsement this week in the form of 50 Cent. Now, he tweeted a picture of one of the news channels over in the US, talking about Biden's proposed tax plan. And apparently, according to this outlet, Biden wants to increase the rate of tax for California and New York to 60% for the most wealthy. 50 Cent has taken big issue with this and has said, everyone, vote Trump. He's like, I get he acknowledges, he's like, I get what Trump is doing in terms of minorities and black people. However, I don't like this. I want my money. And he's made no secret of that fact on Twitter. So it's absolutely fascinating.
Well, we've got a comment here from Not Too Upset About It, who might be slightly upset about it, asking, are these Brits discussing US politics? And yes, we are. He says, maybe in agreement to your point there, Josh, hell yeah, Biden is bringing taxes
for everyone. And I mean, what I would say is this was. I want to make it clear. This was just one. This was just one outlet reporting on Biden's reported proposed tax plan. And we're just saying what 50 Cent. We're just showing that not all celebrities. Are supporting Biden and Harris. We know as well, Kirstie Alley has received a lot of backlash for saying that she's confident and comfortable with Trump's leadership. We are Brits talking about American politics, but I would like to emphasize, obviously, we're not living in the country. I am familiar with definitely parts of America. I've been going to America throughout my life for pretty much nearly every summer for over a decade. So I do know the country well. I have a lot of love for that country. And I have been speaking to people on both sides of the political spectrum telling me their opinions, and I'm hearing it from all sides. Of course, we are Brits looking at it from an outside perspective, but at the same time, this is something that affects everybody in the world. They call the president of the United States the leader of the free world, and when it comes to the global political stage, obviously the president of the United States has a very large say in that. So when it comes to, I know guys in the US, when you have been critical of Brits talking about it because yes, we don't live in the country. We might not know fully what's at stake for anybody on the political spectrum over there. However, what I would like to say is obviously the leader of the free world, and whoever the president of the United States is, does have a large effect on the free world, and especially with our own country, when we're looking at the future, when it shows that Brexit might be on the horizon, and we're looking for trade deals. Obviously this is affected by who is president of the United States. We know that Trump. His mum was Scottish. We know that he has a property in Scotland, Turnberry. He spends a lot of time in Scotland, or at least he has done. He's visited Scotland. He brought the bust of Winston Churchill back into the Oval Office. He says he has great respect of the Queen, even though he faced a lot of criticism by Meghan and through Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry, kind of indirectly as well. He's been nothing but complimentary to the royal family. But I would like to say, yes, this election does have global impacts as such, which is why I think it's worth discussing.
Yeah, and just to add in, I don't think not too upset about it was, in fact, any level upset about it. He said he's not mad, so they are not mad, mate. Well, that's good. They have asked, though, so Clinton's asked, is Boris just as bad as Trump? I think a different beast. Boris definitely in the press this week. There was a story going round about he was reportedly earning too little, so could be resigning his premiership in the new year. Lots of MPs during PMQs bringing that up too. No real word from, I guess, Westminster sources on the validity of those. I think it's just rumours at the minute, but definitely Boris is definitely coming under fire, especially with what we saw yesterday and that deal that they didn't reach with Manchester. Big Old Goose says, lads, there is nothing fascinating with a rapper shouting into the void. I would like to make you aware that Biden's plan only increases taxes for anyone who owns over $400,000. $400,000. That must be a year. Give it a rest. Rockboy says, Jamie over that building, you'll need to focus on that Brexit nonsense. Trump is about as Scottish as Mickey Mouse, says Rockboys. And Kitten Clinton says, William didn't want Harry to hook up with Meghan. And that might be the truth.
It might be the truth.
That's bubbling on.
I was going to say, according to claims by Ahmed Scobie and Carolyn Duran, there was a lot of reservations within the royal family. William reportedly told Harry, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you not rushing into it?" And that is reportedly the origin of their now long-running feud. Listen, I could talk about the royal family all day, every day. I could talk about them.
in the form of the crown and the royals in the real life. But thank you very much for all of those comments, guys. Do keep that comments box lively. Let us know what you're thinking about the stories that we're talking about today, or ask any questions that you have about two Brits pontificating on political situations across the pond in the United States, which we're going to head to next, because the AOC has made history this week by becoming one of the first US politicians to live stream a game on Twitch. Now she's become she's become the most followed American politician on Twitch, with over 500,000 followers now. So she hopped on to a game of Among Us with some of the internet's best known game streamers, celebrities, if you like, playing that game Among Us, which is pretty viral at the minute. But Josh, is that a game that you know? Have you played? Do you know anything about it?
I know that Twitch is. I got to tell you, I know Twitch as a platform is looking into. They have been famous for doing kind of live gaming streams and all of that sort of stuff. But I know that even in this country, I know there were two presenters on the speech radio station now have their own late night phone-in show on Twitch. They Ian Lee and Catherine Boyle. I also know that Paige from WWE would stream on Twitch, and she built up a fan base of over 500,000 followers as well. So I know that Twitch as a platform is kind of looking is looking into doing more kind of chat shows, more talk shows on it, more live streaming, chatting in a similar fashion to what we're doing now.
Well, I mean, what a great way to enter into the platform. I mean, the platform started really as a place where gamers went to watch other gamers play, and that is again where some huge audiences for the platform come from. And I think, like Kitchen Clinton is saying there, AOC is smart, intelligent, feisty, brave, a great candidate for a young president in 4 years. And I think what she's doing, playing to those young people, playing to our audience, and that was, of course, what that live stream, that streaming of Among Us was all about. She was trying to get people to just engage politically, and what a perfect way to do that. I mean, some people have accused her of, the word I heard was electioneering, but what else are you gonna do?
I mean, if the AOC is the millennial politician, let's put that out there right now. The amount of memes she's made, the amount of political clips, the amount of viral moments that AOC has made that have even has even made their way over to the UK and onto the worldwide platform. And obviously, Trump even tweets about AOC. So we're seeing AOC become quite the viral sensation, and seeing her go onto Twitch, I don't think there is anything more millennial than AOC going onto Twitch. And you know what? If she wants to nail down the young generation, if she wants to nail down those young voters and bring them onto her cause, then I got to tell you, it's no different than using YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. It's just another platform that a lot of young people use. And if she wants to go on it and spread her message, what is there to stop her? I would be very interested to see Twitch's policies on that. But AOC is known to kind of almost, I think, clutch on to kind of viral trends and viral moments. We know that she's a massive fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. She's one of the first politicians to appear as a guest judge on the program over in the US. She was a judge on season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race. We do know that she does Instagram stories commenting on the show as well. So we do know that this is a politician that is very much, or at least she likes to appear in tune with millennial sort of topics.
Mm-hmm. Someone in the comments is asking AOC, we're talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who was on Twitch, and 400,000 people watched that stream. I think it's the third most watched stream after I think Drake played something. But I want to talk about the game that she played with all these famous streamers. Now it's called Among Us, and it's going absolutely viral at the minute. Everyone seems to be playing it. And I think it's going to be one of those things like me. I'm always loving these parties.
Is that the game that's appearing on our screen right
now?
Yeah,
that's AOC's Twitch. She's there in the box. She's there in the little purple box. So what you are is a little cartoon character, and it's, you know, there's a load of you playing the game at the same time. Someone is an imposter, so you're heading about this spaceship trying to do little tasks, and then someone is a secret killer, so goes around slowly picking off all of the other characters, and then you have regular meetings with the other players, and you have to work out who is the imposter among us. That's the game. I wondered if you might have played it. I haven't. I'm desperate to, but it's probably not going to be on my playing list for quite a while. I'm quite backed up with games at the minute.
I mean, I'm not the biggest gaming fan. I mean, for me, when I was younger, I used to love playing The Sims and building all the houses on The Sims. And also, I obviously do like a bit of Super Mario from time to time, but I love a bit of... oh, my phone is ringing. I love a bit of Mario Kart. I also loved Age of Empires back in the day as well. That was great fun. So, you know, that's... I'm not a massive fan of gaming, but I do love it. I really appreciate here how AOC is making herself really in tune to kind of the latest millennial trend.
Well, just on that topic, a comment here from the Truth Teller says, "Oh wow, she plays video games. Let's elect her president."
Exactly. It's very much that sort of thing now, isn't it? It's very much that sort of thing. It's like, is she trying to catch on to a viral trend just to get the youth vote? I personally think she might already have at least some of the youth vote down. So
what it at least does, I mean, you can talk differently about what her real intentions were, but I think what it does do is put politics right in front of the noses of a huge number of people, 400,000 viewers that we saw tuning into her Twitch stream. So I think if anything, you know, we want different communities and different groups of people to be more politically engaged. So if anything, regardless of whether she swayed their vote or not, she's getting them thinking about politics at least. And, you know, I think we've all got to be supportive of that, especially, I mean, we don't have them in the UK, when, you know, American media is full of negative adverts against battling politicians. Surely this is better than that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not the sort of way that politicians in our own country would court the electorate, so to speak. But hey, if this is what AOC wants to do, then good on her.
Absolutely. Now, Josh, we're going to have to get you playing some more video games then after that admission that you're not much of a gamer. I don't think Sims is going to cut it. Maybe that's a new feature that Haps could bring in. Maybe we could link up our PlayStations or something and play some games. But alas, we are nearly on. Our hour is nearly over. So let's quickly round up what we've spoken about tonight, just for the people that maybe are tuning in the last few minutes. And we started talking about Netflix and the surprising effects of the pandemic on the streaming giant.
Absolutely, and very surprising effects. How their growth may be slowing, but obviously they do have millions of subscribers worldwide. We're talking over 200 million, but because of their kind of lack of growth, they're kind of switching up their strategy. Even though they earn the most revenue per user in the US, they do need to kind of retain and expand within the Asian markets, within the Indian markets. We know that they're going to be offering, in terms of streaming in India, 48 hours worth of free streaming on the platform in India. They say their big success in terms of pandemic content has been The Old Guard, which is with Charlize Theron and Kiki Lane, which has been viewed over 70 million times on the platform. And if we're looking at it in terms of revenue, if the average subscriber pays $8 to $11 or pounds or whatever, we're looking at potentially, if we're looking at kind of if those households were to go and see the movie in the cinema, we're talking around 500 to 800 $1 million worth of revenue there. So it's very interesting times for Netflix. We were also talking a lot about rumours in terms of The Crown season 5 and 6. It's been reported that Dominic West is due to play Prince Charles. He will be taking over the role from Josh O'Connor, who is due to play Prince Charles in the upcoming season of The Crown, season 4, which is due to be released, I think, on the second week of November.
15th of November, and then obviously Josh gave us a very good description. I think someone commented about how good your description was of Rebecca. I think a few people tuning into this stream will now be putting it in their watch list because, of course, like we found out, it's on Netflix right now. I might tune into it myself after this, after I've played a few video games, though. And then we touched base on Chris Pratt and his the scandal, the backlash that he has been receiving on social media because of his political views.
I was going to say they're alleged political views. He hasn't actually said what his political views are. We know that he is a member of a church which has faced accusations of homophobia. He's defended the church, saying that that couldn't be further from the truth. Of course, he's married to Katherine Schwarzenegger, who's the daughter of Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was the governor of California. He was a Republican governor, so we know there are at least moderate conservative views in that family there. So, but what we do know is that he's had quite a few Marvel guys and Hollywood bigwigs coming to his defense in the form of Mark Ruffalo, James Gunn, Robert Downey Jr., and more. So we kind of discussed there whether it's fair to judge a celebrity on their political views. We discussed the surprising endorsement of Donald Trump from 50 Cent. We went over some of the big names such as Oprah, Meryl, Katy Perry, Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga, who obviously are supporting the Biden-Harris tickets as well. So we've unpicked a lot in today's
and still loads of comments coming in about AOC. That's definitely been our major conversation starter today. So thank you for weighing in with all your views and opinions tonight, guys. It's been really good to hear them. Some maybe not too nice comments about my potentially shiny forehead and the fact that I could be playing Prince William. But you know what? I welcome them. Thank you very much for engaging and tuning in. Someone saying that he just has a valid opinion, not sure which one. They're talking about there. Someone asking us to be more threatening as well. I think we're just having a good time tonight, and I'm really grateful to everyone that's tuned in as well. Not too upset about it. Our first conversation started right at the top of the program saying, enjoyed your show, Jay and Jay. So that is that. That's another week. We're calling it Offbeat with Jamie and Josh. A weekly roundup of showbiz and entertainment news from someone in the know and someone getting there slowly.
What I will say is we may be called Offbeat, but we're certainly on the pulse of all things showbiz news.
Well, there we go. One of us is at least. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys.